Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Discover Your Spirit with Brenda Reading. I'm your host on Lilydale Radio. Well, this evening I am so very excited to have Suzy Woo with us. Suzy is a spiritual healer, energy healer, psychic medium, astrologer, sound therapist, breakthrough coach, self empowerment person extraordinaire. I'm so happy to have you here, Suzy.
Thank you. Thank you. The list just keeps on going.
I know. And the more I looked up, tried to find out about you, it's like, this is not your first rodeo. You've been involved in this type of work, the spiritual work, however you want to, categorize it. You've been doing it for years and you've been recognized for your work. I saw that you've been featured in Business First, Western New York Woman. You've been on AM Buffalo, right? You've won awards for your work. It's not like we have a newbie here on the show. So I'm so happy that you're here. And you have taught in-person classes at Lilydale before. I know you did last year or the year before that. And this year you're offering a few on Zoom online. So before we get into those, I would like you to just tell our viewers a little bit about you and what you do and how you got to where you are and your story. Okay.
Great. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Brenda. Well, my story began from a horrible place of despair. I spent 22 years from when I was 16 years old for the next 22 years in a relationship that ended up becoming grotesquely violent. And once I got out and stayed out, I wanted to understand why. And I thought, what was so wrong with me to stay in that relationship for 22 years and yada yada. Well, I had always loved astrology when I was little. And at the checkouts in the stores, they used to have the little scrolls of different colors of your sign, and it had some numerous. I would always get those and just fully so saturate myself into it. So after I had gotten out of this violent marriage, I started to rekindle my love of astrology. And then what is that? When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Well, for me, it was also somebody who teaches at Lilydale, Cassandra Butler.
Oh,
And
we have
I
her on
studied
the
under
show quite
her. I
quite
love
often.
her.
Yeah, she's wonderful lady.
She's very, very special to me. And she kind of like cracked the nutshell open in all of this spiritual stuff. And then as I studied astrology, I came across the terms empath and narcissist. And now I want to get into the therapy, the understanding, and the family dynamics and domestic violence. And then I started to study criminology and the astrology charts of criminals. And then that helps to, potential red flags in somebody's charts. And so I would help my kids when they were considering dating people. I'd look at their chart and one thing led to the next. That led into tarot, into divination, and then energy healing. But for me, Reiki just wasn't enough. I felt like a phony. And as I'm doing my Reiki, and people are like, oh, I feel so much better. I'm thinking, I think they're just saying it to make me feel good. And I just wasn't feeling it. And so I get home and I'm hammering on my keyboard. It's like, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. And then I found a company called Star Magic Healing from England, and the guy's name is Jerry Sargent. And I connected with him and I took his training, and it's way stronger and it doesn't wear off. Like Reiki kind of fades and you need a top off. So this is cumulative and it doesn't work. So anyway, so I wove that into what I do. And it's what I consider is that I learn from the very best. And then I throw it in a blender and I come up with a Suzy smoothie. And
Susie Smoothie. I love that. Yeah.
so I kind of put my own spin on the blending of what I've learned to teach empowerment. And instead of, because I spent 10 years doing radio and TV and putting on concerts for domestic violence awareness, which were awesome, at the number of people that would come out to support it and the bands. I would, it was a 2.5 day, 3 day concert on 2 stages. I would have 50 bands
Wow.
on two stages, every half an hour or hour, a new band. All would just come and donate a set of music for the cause. And it helped me to understand how significant domestic violence is. And but then I realized I can't go walking around going domestic violence because some people cringe because they're not healed. It's a little too close to the heart. And instead, I used my what I've learned to weave it together and teach empowerment. Like, how can I prevent people from falling
Right.
into the pit that I once was in? And it's through, having a lower self-esteem. It's never the way people think. I would never let that happen to me. Well, how does that help me? It doesn't. And so to help people understand the dynamics of that, and then I help plug people back into who they are at soul level, which gets so separated when once we're born and our family is like, this is how we treat one another. This is your rank in the family. This is how we eat together, worship, pray. This is how we treat our neighbors. And then you go into school, and now it's like you wait until you're spoken to, and this other discipline, and then you have a partner, and you have a boss, and all these layers and layers of conditioning coming in. Well,
It's
you've
like
never
an
had a
onion. It's
chance.
like you have to pull all the layers of the
Yeah,
onion off to get back to who we really are, where,
right.
yeah, it's like you're in there somewhere underneath all of these should do's and must do's that everybody else has put on you, right? You're in there somewhere. Yeah.
Exactly. And
So
what
that's
happens is
wonderful.
when people don't and they just continue to do what everyone expects of them, it creates dissonance inside. And then it will create a symptom in your physical body after a long period of time, which can be measured. So I'm big on measurement and quantifying. And when I was feeling like a phony with Reiki, I looked for a device to measure. It's like I need to prove what I'm doing really to myself. And then I did find a German technology that's called Aura Fit. And I got it, and then I was terrified to use it because what if there was no change? And so, like 3 months later, finally, a little voice is like, use it on this guy. And as terrified as I was, I did. And the gentleman had a pretty bad back injury, and I did a healing on him. I did his scan. His aura was all red, low energy, and at the end, he was these beautiful blues and greens. And he said he felt great. And in my head, I was like, "Ah!" But of course, to your clients, you're the professional, so you can't like.
So
And so
Suzy,
now when I do in-person healings, everybody gets that before and after scan. So you get
awesome.
the evidence for yourself of what took place.
Well, isn't that wonderful? Kind of like spiritualists, mediums, how we work, we want the evidence, that's it's like we want to bring forth the evidence so that there's no way that you doubt that your particular spirit loved one is speaking with us and speaking with you. So you have found a way to give that evidence to your client for your healing modality. So I find that to be very interesting and you know that I think that whole trust thing, right? Trusting that the energy's working. And, it's the same thing when we do our mediumship or our, psychic. It's like we have to trust that what we're being given is accurate. So
Mhm.
and that can all go back to the low self-esteem, right? It's like it's a whole building process. So I find that a lot of the energy workers and mediums, we've all been through the gauntlet in some form or fashion and had to, go through all that and come full circle to who we really are to be able to do the work. So
Yeah.
you too have gone through all of that, and it's amazing how spirit leads us to have our life be a purpose of helping others because we don't want people to suffer the way maybe we did or so, something that you've seen. So it's a very altruistic approach to life, Suzy, and we're glad you're here. So so you do spiritual healing, energy healing, and two classes that you're offering online with Lily Dale on Zoom. One is using sacred geometry, right, and color and crystals to help your healing, and that will be March 8th on Zoom. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about sacred geometry and give us a little peek under the tent so that if people haven't found that class and haven't signed up yet, they can, find out more about it.
Way awesome. We have microcrystals in our bone marrow, in our inner ears, in our pineal gland, which is our little antenna. And that is why when we bring a crystal into our auric field, it will create resonance. Some crystals might not feel good when we hold them. And again, I test this. Oh, that's beautiful.
It's right by my computer all the time. It's the amethyst. Not to interrupt your little speech, but it's like, I believe in the crystals. So go ahead, keep
Oh
going.
my, yes. And so we have frequency, and when it's a particular, I'll just say octave, it can be audible, and that's why singing bowls of particular notes will work. Or if it's visual, then it's like the color red, and that's the root chakra, which correlates with the note C for the root. And so when we work with crystals, it helps to stimulate dormancy in us, and it helps us to vibrate where we're supposed to be vibrating so that the different pitches and sounds and tones can play together like an orchestra. We ought to be a walking symphony. But when we get into an argument or we get a traffic jam or somebody says something that upsets us, it throws us out of tune. And you can measure this with tuning forks. I can sound a tuning fork 6 feet from you. That's your conception all the way into now. So if I sounded a throat fork to me when I was disempowered, it would have went silent.
Oh,
And that
wow.
is because I lost my voice. I lost my identity. I lost the power to speak up for myself. Now I can clearly project and have plenty to say. But with sacred geometry, that is our design. We are sacred geometry. We are made up of the platonic solids. And my favorite is Metatron. I love Metatron's cube. It holds a lot of power for me. I do work with it. But there's all kinds of sacred geometry out there. I think most importantly, we are created of it. So it exists within us. And so that particular workshop, we're going to go through some real life examples where people will experience their own healing with me online via quantum entanglement.
Ooh,
So,
those are two big words. So why don't you
yeah.
explain that too for myself and our viewers?
Yes. And so I have created a healer's course, which I teach, and it is based on quantum entanglement. When let's say I get a call from John Smith, who lives in, I know that sounds like a very American name, but we're going to say he lives in Budapest. And let's say this is a total remote healing session. And so I will call up John Smith's IP address. I am a computer geek, so I'm an IT nerd. So for me, an IP address is how I can relate to one's energy if it's remote. And
Mhm.
so I just pull up their IP address or a hologram. So I can bring up the person's hologram. I might say, this bottle of water is John Smith, and I work on them like as a proxy. And so that's what quantum entanglement is. I am pulling up their likeness without having them in the physical in front of me because they're halfway around the world. And I ask to be shown where are things out of balance, out of sync, out of tune, and then show me. I just ask to be shown. But when we are entangling with somebody, a very basic watered down way to understand this. You're thinking of your cousin Kathy and then Kathy calls. It's
Mhm.
because you are quantumly entangled. They're thinking of you, you're thinking of them, they pick up the phone and call.
So it's energetic then.
It's
It's
pure and energetic relationship that, like, you think of the ocean. If you take a drop of the ocean, that drop contains all of the ocean's contents.
Mhm.
And so if you hurt, it does send a ripple of that into the ocean. But on a smaller level, it's you and your family. So if somebody in your family is going through hardship, that kind of bleeds into the household. And it's the same in a neighborhood or a city or your school spirit or your work. And so wherever you have these collectives, your energy directly ripples into it. And that's how you can connect to anybody because really you're all part of the same ocean. And we have labels or names or IP addresses so that when we bring it up, we can entangle with it and clean it up and heal it and then kind of put it back into the physical. And then they're like, oh my God, I have a full range of motion, or my tumor went down. And this people write the reviews, like people who don't need surgery anymore because their lumps are now gone and not detected anymore. And this is real stuff.
Oh yeah. I liken that to when we do readings, right? Either on Zoom for someone, because you don't have to be with them, or you could, I do the spot readings on this show where all I see is their name, right?
Yes.
But I link into their energy and spirit takes care of the rest of it, you know? So it's just one more way. So if you believe that God is all there is and all there is God, and we are all part of God, then anything is possible. So this healing, right, can be done through quantum entanglement, right, without having to have the person right in front of you. And I just so once again, that would mean your thoughts had power, right? And your wishes had power and your intention had power. So Suzy, it sounds like what you do is very scientific, but also very spiritual in nature.
Right. Yeah, that's what really floats my boat. I love the marriage of science and spiritual work. Like, yeah, that's what just lights me up because I like proof.
That's great.
I like to be able to deliver that proof.
So then
I
what
understand.
is your sun sign? Just, out of curiosity.
I am a Leo and my sun is in the ninth house. So I have salt and pepper of Sagittarius, which is teacher and truth.
Uh-huh.
And then I've got a Taurus moon, which is an exalted moon in my seventh house. So I love to help clients. I love to help
Yeah.
the other.
Right.
But that's where
Right.
I lost myself and gave all of my energy away to an abusive partner. So it's you go up through these levels of awareness, hopefully, and you get stuck every here and there. And when you get unstuck and you can see it more objectively, and then you can do something about it. And then, of course, I'm a Scorpio rising, so there's my
Hello.
trauma.
Hello.
Every Scorpio, sun, moon, rising has trauma. And so
Yeah.
that's why we move into the fields that we do, whether it's, any kind of a therapy. And I do holistic psychotherapy and empowerment coaching. And my latest edition of my offerings is past life regressions.
Oh wow.
I'm totally into it. Oh, I cannot believe the stories of these past lives. So I kind of want to research and validate them, and it's pulling me hard. Like, this is my
Uh
latest thing. I mean, this is only a few weeks into it,
Suzy, I
really.
love your energy. It's just so like you're so effusive and it's like you can tell that you really believe in what you do, And I would think anybody signing up for a class or being in your presence would feel that too, and I'm not in the next room next to you. I am wherever I am and I'm on Zoom with you, but I can feel your energy and it's just very contagious. So that is fantastic. So, your next class that you're doing online, right, is energy healing. What is it? Where does it come from? What do you do with it? How do you do with it? There is so much information there. And that is April 19th. And that's also offered through Lily Dale. And
Yeah,
you can find these classes at www.lilydaleassembly.org and then click on the calendar. It'll say what's happening. Click on the calendar, but I have to be honest. I just typed your name up in the search bar,
that's what I
Suzy
do.
Woo, WOO, and there they were. There, your classes were all there, and then you can just click on them and find out more and sign up and yeah. So let's talk about that class. Like, what type of energy work will you be talking about?
Don't miss it. Don't miss it. This is one of my favorite classes to teach. People absolutely go bonkers for it. Um, we evidence the difference between Reiki and what I do. And I don't have a name for it, but so I am teaching a healer's course now. We had a lesson yesterday, and so I kind of got the name blended. And so Reiki uses the Earth's magnetic energy, and what I do uses both the Earth's magnetic energy and the cosmos electromagnetic energy, and it combines it. It's blended. Much more powerful, much more lightning fast, effective. It's not as subtle and soft as Reiki. And so, what is it? Where does it come from? And how do I do it? Every single person who attends will feel it individually, will feel it through some guidance that I offer. And you just do the simple things and you will have an experience. It's going to kind of open you up. As long as you are not walking in like this, if you are open, that's it. All you do is listen and follow along, play along. I'm very playful. I like simple. And so super fun, easy, and simple. That's what I like. That's how I teach. Very effective. So in this course, you're going to learn exactly that. What is energy healing? How do you get it? How do you turn it on? And so when we're through with that class, you're going to know how to how to remove a headache.
Mm.
You're going to learn how to do it for yourself and for other people. I just removed a headache for my son last night. And these crazy energies that we're getting pummeled with right now,
Oh yeah.
the solar flares, this Schumann resonance is going bonkers. Even in the astrology, all the outer planets are changing signs in a short time. We're going through unprecedented Earth energetic changes. And since we live on it, we're definitely impacted as well. But one of the big symptoms is headaches and migraines.
Oh,
And our nervous system is being flooded. And so I have a full schedule, but teaching the tools so that when big sweeps of grief and devastation happen in the world, even though I don't watch the news, you're still impacted because it's the ocean. And so how to protect and ground yourself,
mhm.
how to hold space so that others can process whatever they're going through. It's such a wonderful, powerful class. Please do not miss this class. You will have tools to use for the rest of your life that you can teach other people. Wouldn't you love to know how to remove a headache instead of
Oh,
going to your medicine cabinet?
it's funny you bring that up because I noticed like the last week or so, I've just had this headache that's behind my eyes, you know? It's like it
Yeah.
comes and it goes and it comes and it goes. And my husband's like, you know, you've had these headaches for a couple of weeks. I go, yeah, but there's been an awful lot going on in the cosmos in the last, you know, and in our own country, the whole
Yes.
thing, you know, it's like, and it's just been, so I think, you know, we are empathic beings doing what we do to help others. So we tend to pick up all the stuff, right? We pick up all the stuff. So that sounds like a great class for people to come and learn how to manage, not just for other people, but for themselves. You know,
Yeah.
we can't forget we have to take care of ourselves too.
It's
So
important.
I
Yeah,
love that. I
you
love
can't
that.
take care of other people on an empty tank.
I know, right? So you have a place in Ellicottville, right? You have your own place.
Yeah, my practice, I'm there now. So I did have a crystal shop on the other side of this wall, but the overhead was too much and the foot traffic wasn't there. So I'm moving my crystals to online. I am a crystal skull practitioner and I have hundreds of crystal skulls that I buy and sell. Can I add the site because it's not the
Oh
same as my
yeah,
site?
feel free to give.
If
I was one
anyone's
of my questions was going to be how do people find you? So go ahead and let
okay.
them know.
For merchandise, for crystal and metaphysical merchandise, but hundreds of skulls, we're still uploading them. But that one is thewoolife.com. TheWoolife.com. And then my website is SUZY-WOO.com, Suzy-Woo.com. But where were we going with that? I lost my track. Taking care of ourselves and self-care.
Mhm.
Yeah, I lost my way there.
That's okay. That's okay because I'll ask you another question. So so then how does this how did you find yourself connected to Lilydale? How did that happen too?
Ellen Bourne invited me. Ellen and Cassandra. So I attended Cassandra's. I love both of those ladies, and they have supported me in my up and coming. And the Astrology Discovery series. So I've been teaching there for years, like longer than I even realized. Years. Every year I get invited back. And now, well, in 2021, I moved from Orchard Park closer. I only live a half an hour from Lilydale now, so it's very, very easy. I've expanded beyond just this astrology discovery in person, but offer sound healing. Last year, I brought all my giant gongs and I taught sound healing, and my classes are so well received. Like, I just love it. It's just sharing, it's sharing what I've learned and seeing it light other people up. And it's just reciprocal. Like the more I get to light people up, the more I get lit up. And I love to teach at Lilydale. I just love to share information and the whole ambience there. It's just such a beautiful setting to be able to share that wisdom with people that are open. So it's kind of like they're pre-qualified because they're there.
Exactly, right? The people that come are usually searching, right? They're
Yeah,
searching
I
and they're
absolutely love
looking
it.
for the answers. And quite often they find them there,
Yeah.
whether it's the peaceful nature of the surroundings and the beautiful lake and the grounds, or it's a class they take, or bumping into others that are like-minded that they haven't
Yeah.
had the opportunity to talk with, I mean, that's a big deal, being able to talk about what you're experiencing and how you're unfolding and your development, and we didn't all have that growing up where we could speak freely about the
Hmm.
things we were seeing or hearing or feeling, right? And I will say, Lilydale has come quite a way in the 15 years that I've been going there, in being open to more forms of healing and
Right.
modalities and different divination types and things. I mean, still the mediumship is still all mental mediumship, but as far as, I mean, they do have physical mediumship demonstrations and things like that. So I feel like we're all evolving and Lilydale's evolving along with it, so
Yeah, I'm
it's a
grateful
good
for that. And I
place.
have
Yeah.
done readings at the Stump.
Hmm.
I've been invited by Angie Apt. And so it's like,
Well, I'm going to be chairing 2 weeks this summer as well. I will be there a week at the Stump at 1 o'clock, and then I'll be doing the 4 o'clock Forest Temple. So I will let you know, and I'm inviting you to come down and give
excellent.
some, do some message work while I'm chairing at the Stump as well. So
Perfect. I would
yeah,
love that because
that
I
would be great.
really enjoy it so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. There's so much healing that happens when we can connect our people with spirit loved ones and just proving the continuity of life. You can go there wondering, and when you leave, it's
Right,
it's
right,
it's just
right.
so comforting and peaceful. um so let's see, I checked out your website. I have to admit. So you also do things at the Light Emporium in Ashtabula. I love saying that. Ashtabula, Ohio. Is that correct?
Hmm. Yeah. So I also go to a place called Illuminate in Cleveland. And so I've had 3 days of being completely sold out there. I'll be back there later this month. So I've agreed to go there every other month. The Cleveland market just gobbles me up. I love them. They love me. It feels good, and it's a short drive down the throughway.
Oh yeah.
So what I do, because I do enjoy to travel, and I actually do this across the country, I will find a metaphysical location and then see if they have a room I can rent. And then I will book private one-on-ones. And then
Hmm.
I'll conclude with a workshop or class of some sort. And then I'll go home. And so this is what I love to do. And that's what I'm doing there. And so this will be my first time at the Light Emporium. I mean, I know the owner because she makes the cosmic discs. And
Oh, okay. I think I might have met her at the Earth Spirit Expo a couple of years ago.
yes, that's where I met her too, Sherry
Oh,
Lynn. Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
so the
Yeah. I
Andromeda.
will be at
Yeah.
the Earth Spirit Expo in March.
Will you?
Yes.
On that Saturday I'm teaching a Lilydale class. So I'm
Oh,
not
that's
able to
right. You
be in
are.
the
You are.
expo. Yeah,
Yes, you
yeah. Because
are.
it wasn't
I
going to look
didn't
good
I
if I
didn't
wasn't
put
there for the whole time. So I'm not
yeah.
doing it. But that's okay. There's plenty of places for me to go and set up, and I'm really, really going into the traveling this year. I just became a contributor for Awakened magazine out of Los Angeles, and I do write for the paper here. I write for Ellicottville Now, the astrology there, and just anywhere
You're
I can shine
you're
the light, I like
busy.
to do so.
You're very busy, Suzy Woo.
It's what makes me happy. Yeah.
And we're grateful for it because it sounds like no matter what you do, you have helping people as your focus. And that's just such a wonderful, wonderful thing. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about on our little interview here to, um, as far as energy healing, spiritual healing, tying the astrology into what you do before we uh, sign off?
I want to offer gratitude I'm going to just repeat because Cassandra Butler is my why. So I have to say thank you, pay homage to her, to Ellen Bourne as well. And that everybody has their own reason for existence and to never give up on discovering your why. And I do have a tagline that is, I swear it'll be my epitaph. Find yourself, love yourself, be yourself, and be proud. When we have a physical symptom that is an outcome of an imbalance, your job is to go right back in. And when we say go home, it means into your own heart and actually realize the answers are in there. You do know when something's not right, but now you're being asked to honor that and to live in alignment with your values. So I
Oh, that's
encourage
so
everyone to
powerful.
review their values, their traditions, and ask, does this still apply to me? Or are you still regurgitating what you were raised with, even though it doesn't feel resonant any longer? Dive in and know thyself. Love all of who you are. And I love you and everybody who is watching and everybody who comes to my classes. I love you even more if you come to my classes. But even if you don't, I love you because you are that ocean and love does heal all.
Thank you so much, Suzy, for your powerful words and just for being in the universe with us at this very we signed up for this, right? This
Oh, yeah.
magical time that we're in, right? Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
once again, you can find Suzy Woo at her website, suzy-woo.com, correct?
Yes.
You're also on Facebook, correct?
Oh, yeah. I'm
Yep.
on Facebook, Instagram, and I don't know if TikTok's going to be around, but I'm there as well. So all three is Suzy Woo Healer.
Yeah.
That's my
And
handle.
on the Lilydale Assembly website, you can check out her classes. She's offering two great ones here shortly. And so I just wanted to thank everyone for stopping by tonight. And next time I come on, we will be doing a little talk and I'll be offering mini spot readings. So once again, thank you, Suzy. We are so happy for you to be with us tonight. Your energy is contagious and it's exactly what we need at this time. So thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, everybody, for participating.
All right. Thank you so much.